Jeffrey Epstein?
So Epstein's a fascinating case because Epstein fits all of the primary pillars of a foreign intelligence asset collecting information on American citizens, not an American spy working for someone else. It's funny because people keep thinking like CIA killed him, or people keep thinking that he somehow worked for CIA or maybe even worked for Mossad. What I see is the opposite, that he, if anything, was working independently, maybe even working for several countries, but collecting information on US people.
Is that what you believe?
I think that he could have been that. I don't know that I necessarily believe that it's true.
Because he was a very successful business person. He had lots of successful friends.
Correct.
I was interviewing someone the other day and they said that they met Jeffrey Epstein, and Jeffrey Epstein was really, really interested in their physics and science discoveries and wasn't interested at all in the financier stuff that he was pretending to, or he was purporting to be involved in. And this person said to me, it was just really bizarre because he was only interested in the physics and science discoveries we had at Harvard. He wasn't particularly interested in finance to me. And that person was like really shocked by that.
What I've learned working with wealthy people and successful people is that they're often very intelligent and they're often misunderstood. And part of the reason that they have grown as successful as they have grown is because they don't really fit in anywhere else. If they would have fit in somewhere else, they would have been distracted by the area where they fit in. Instead, they had to carve their own interests, their own passions, their own drive. In many ways, when I look at Epstein, that's what I see. I've also worked with many wealthy people who have gone to jail. And when wealthy people go to jail, their whole identity crumbles. And they start to doubt themselves, and they start to have these irrational thoughts that sound totally rational to them. I had a client who was very wealthy, who was going to jail after being found guilty of a crime that arguably couldn't be proven, but the court system was set up in such a way that he was found guilty. And he literally thought that it would be better if he cut off all ties to his kids and just went to jail, and then even when he got out of jail, never talked to his kids again. Because that would be better than shaming his children for the rest of their life with a father who went to jail. So when I think about the Epstein case, and I think about a wealthy, powerful man who was having parties with the world's elite, and then he goes to jail and he kills himself, to me, that's not an unbelievable series of events.
The whole thing with the island and the underage sex and all this stuff, people just can't seem to shake the idea that he wasn't extracting information. And then the fact that they won't release the flight logs or a list of the names of people that were frequenting his island or interacting with him also raises another question mark about why wouldn't the US government release that? Why isn't Trump very quick to release that information?
There are lots of secrets that are kept for lots of reasons. And when we talk about, like, if there's anything that we've learned, need to know, the need part is the driving part. What is the need to know? There's plenty of secrets the government has that it tells the American people it doesn't know. It's just lying. Of course it knows, but it's working the common good to say, if you knew what we knew, it could cause panic, it could cause chaos, it could cause any number of things. And in the United States, that is one of the rights and privileges that the federal government has.
So what do you both think happened with the Jeffrey Epstein situation? Because it smells fishy to everybody. The fact that, Trump and Kash Patel and various other White House officials were saying, we're going to release it the minute we get in there. And then they get in there and they say, there's nothing to release. You must, because you understand this much more than I would, you must see like fingerprints of what you think is actually going on there, or the real reasons they wouldn't release it.
When I look at it through a lens of probabilities, the most probable outcome is that somebody in the prison was hired to hurt Jeffrey Epstein. That's the most probable outcome. That somebody outside was watching the Epstein case and knew that Epstein may or may not have compromising information on them, and that wealthy, well-connected person paid to have a hit inside the prison. That's just, to me, that's the most probable result of things happening. That explains the missing evidence, that explains the videotapes, that explains the stories inside of prison where nobody can see what's going on. Also, that's the most vulnerable place for Epstein to have been neutralized. That's how we would have run an operation.
But why wouldn't the government release that? Why wouldn't they say a prisoner killed him?
The government may not know that, because if a prisoner was paid to do it, they may have covered their tracks well enough, or they may have paid a prisoner and the guards to also cover the thing up. Jail's a nasty place. People forget how nasty a place jail is. And jails are commercial. They're not federal for the most part. So it's a commercial business that has all sorts of plausible deniability that a federal business or a federal organization, a federal building doesn't have. So that's, to me, that's the most probable series of events. There's still a chance that any number of the other conspiracies are true. But when I think of what I've seen, what my clients have seen, what I would do if I was in the shoes of a foreign adversary or a foreign intelligence collection operation dealing with a Jeffrey Epstein type of situation, that's how we would clean it up.
There was a press conference the other day where the reporters asked the Trump administration, does the Department of Justice have any indication that Jeffrey Epstein was working with the US or a foreign intelligence agency, or was he a spy of some kind? And Pam Bondi, who works in the Trump administration, said, to him being an agent, I have no knowledge about that. We can get back to you on that.
CIA believes that all people are born with a spy secret superpower. For some people, that means they can win deals. For others, they can spot liars. Some can even seduce lovers. I built a free 3-minute test to help reveal to you exactly what your secret hidden superpower is. All you have to do is click on the link in the description below, take the test, and start using your spy superpower to stay ahead of 99% of people.
Two really important things here. If they did have information on that in an active investigation, she would say, I have no knowledge on that. She would lie to the American public. That's what you have to do if you're trying to build a current case. Because if they acknowledge, we have some reason to believe that he might have been an agent. Now all of a sudden, everybody else out there would start destroying evidence and start hiding evidence and start making the case much more difficult. So if they knew, they would say they don't know.
Do you think he was an agent?
I think he could have been. I think he fits the model of a very good reporting asset, but I don't have enough evidence to say that it was actually one.
Do you think he was?
I mean, I think even if he was, I don't know that it matters, is what I think. Like, even if he was, that doesn't mean that it's connected, because he was a lot of things. So I think people are focused on it because it's interesting.
Yeah.
Because it would be interesting if he was, and it would be interesting if there was this conspiracy. I think that's why people are focused on it. But I don't know that it really matters, because in the grand scheme of things, I mean, it could be a lot of things that led,
Why are we talking about a dead guy who's not reporting?
I think it's just the allure of, right? People want answers. Once the curiosity gap's open, people need to fill it with something.
Correct.
Yes.
When what the intelligence community believes is that in any given moment, there are 2 penetrations of every intelligence service. So why are we talking about the dead guy that we don't know about when we're not talking about the dozens of arrests and cases that are made every year of active moles, active penetrations that are inside of our intelligence community?